Hey everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna. Today I'm going to make this sympathy card with you. It has a lot of pieces and a lot of die cutting involved, but I had to make it for a very special family, so the little extra effort was okay with me. And you can certainly change it out and not make it a sympathy card, make it a birthday card, and then you just simply have a beautiful bouquet of flowers. But in any event, let's get started. And what I'm using here is the Forever Fern bundle. I have the Forever Fern stamp set, and I'm using two different types of foliage and this little floral element. And then it has the dies, the coordinating dies. I think I already took those out. Oh, here they are. I'm going to use the dies to cut those out. And you can see it has tons of dies. And there are 14 of those in the set. And then I'm going to use the Tasteful Labels dies. I love label dies because I put labels on almost all of my cards. And this one here has 10 of them. And I am going to use this one here because I liked the stitching that was on it. I wanted to have something that would stand up because it's white on white. These, most of them have stitching, but some of them have, I'm going to bring it up so you can maybe see it nice and close, have a little embossing to them. So when you run it through the machine, instead of getting the stitching, you get a very subtle embossing. So I'm going to put those off to the side. And let's get started with the card. Our card base is, I used the 2021 to 2023 in colors for this. And our base is Soft Succulent, and it is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a matte piece, which is Fresh Freesia, and this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Then I have two pieces of Whisper White, which are 4 by 5 1/4. One is going on the outside, and one is going on the inside. And then I have a little scrap piece of white, which is 2 by 4. And then I have just some scrap white to do my stamping. So let's do all of our stamping first. And for that, I'm going to make 3 of each of the elements. I've already done 2 of them just for the sake of saving some time on my video. So I have my Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to stamp one beautiful leaf, another beautiful leaf, and then with the Fresh Freesia, I'm going to do my floral. And you know, while I'm at it, I think I'm going to also do my my With Sympathy, excuse me. Just grab some more scrap paper. And the With Sympathy comes from the Peaceful Moments. I'm going to use this With Sympathy for the outside and Thinking of You with All My Heart for the inside. So I'm going to get all of that stamping done right now. So mount this one here with Deepest Sympathy, and I think I'm going to just drop that. Oh, let me just make sure I'm in camera right there. And I'm going to put that aside, and then the Thinking of You with All My Heart is going onto one of the pieces for the inside. And this is the Whisper White, the basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. Now all my stamping is done. I'm going to close up my ink pads so I don't have any accidents. And I'm going to put this aside because that's going on the inside of my card. Okay, so now I'm going to do all of my die cutting, and I'm going to do it all together. So I'm going to bring up my big shot. I want the big platform here. I have the magnetic plate, an acrylic plate, and then all of the things I need to die cut out. And grab my pieces here. Make sure I'm in camera view there. And this one here, I'm going to center it up. Wants to move on me. Okay. And then these here, going to just drop these in. And I like Stampin' Up! Has now, oh, it's been a bit of time. They've changed how their dies line up. Before, you would put them in and you would line them up with a little border around your image. But now the edge of the die is placed right at the edge of your image. And when it cuts out, you still do get that nice little white border, but it's even. And you know, there's no guessing. Because you know, as long as you don't see any white while it's placed here, it's good. So now I need my next plate, and hopefully nothing moved. And we'll cut that through. Here are all my pieces. I'm going to move my with Sympathy off to the side. And all of my other pieces. Now, before we get to arranging our floral arrangement, I want to do this little bottom part here. I wanted to add a little bit of texture so you can see there's all these grooves in it. And how I'm going to do that is with my scoreboard. And I have my piece of paper here, my piece of basic white that is 2x4. And this comes with this little stylus. There's a fat end and there's a smaller end, a little roller ball. I'm going to use the smaller ball. And I'm going to, let me just bring this over so you can see. Every tick mark, there's the 1 inch, the 1/2 inch, the 1/4 inch, and then it's 1/8 inch. So every tick mark, in this case, every 1/8 of an inch, I'm going to make sure this is up nice and firm, and I'm just going to bring this down. You do want to kind of, you don't want to just, especially if a piece of paper is long, you don't want to go down real fast because you will jump your groove and end up with a crooked line. And you also want to keep just double checking that you are up nice and flush against the top so that your lines do come out straight. It's a little tedious, but it's only 4 inches. So it's going to go fast, and I don't have to stop and calculate because I know I'm going into every single groove so that I have a nice full card. And that's that. I don't use that tool nearly enough because usually when I have to score, I just use my paper trimmer because it has that great little scorer in it. But for something like this where I needed it to be every 1/8 of an inch, that would just take forever. I wouldn't have the patience for that. So that's done, and now I'm going to take that and put it off to the side. Now we're going to start to assemble our cards. I have my card base, and I'm going to attach the inside of my card that I've already stamped. I mean, this is a beautiful card, and like I said, it does take a lot of time, but once you have all of your prep work done, it does go pretty quickly. Okay, Now on the front, I'm going to attach my matte piece. Again, this is a fresh freesia, and all of these dimensions will be on my blog, and I will link the blog post in the description of this video. This is a very small border. I just thought it would add a nice layer. And now I have my white piece, but I'm not going to attach that yet because I want to arrange my flowers. So I'm going to put my little wainscoting down the bottom here, and I want to just hold on to it so that I can get an idea of where I'm going to place my flowers. The hardest part here actually in designing this was to see where my flowers were going to go on my card. And what I decided, although it's going to look odd, you're going to think it's odd, I'm going to put these long ones somewhat standing straight. I'm not going to twist them off to the side as you would see in a floral arrangement that's been arranged. I'm going to put them up straight like this. And then my 3 smaller greens, I'm going to put them in between here. I just want to fill the back. And I think I might move this one up, this one over, and this one for the center. Okay. And then my 3 pink ones, or freesia ones, are going to go like this. Okay? And these are going to be pop dotted, so they'll stand up nice. And at this point, I'm going to just make any notes to myself mentally of where I want things changed. So I'm going to like fill that in a little more, put that up a little higher. Okay, and so now I'm going to carefully remove all my pieces except for my last layer, my tall layer of my flowers. Okay, and that's roughly where they came out, where they're going to end up. So for these flowers here, I'm going to use liquid glue because they are smaller. Their silhouette is smaller, so I don't, rather than using my adhesive, I'm just going to use the liquid glue, and that way I can put just a dot where I need it to be. And the last one. Okay. Doesn't look like much of a floral arrangement yet, but it will, right? Because we've tried it out already. And so now this, because the back of it is more solid, I can just run my Stampin' Seal back there. Okay, and I believe I had one over here. And then one over here. Okay, and that kind of fills that up. Well, I think I might move this one over just a tad and fill this one in over there. And it's okay if they overlap because that makes it more realistic. And again, I'm going to put this here so I have an idea of where I need to put my flowers. Now, I did put Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of these. I did those 2 before I came on camera, just to save some time. And this last one here, I'll do with you. Okay. And now with my, what's it called? Take your pick tool. I'm going to pick all of the backings off. This is a great way to pick the backings off. This one didn't come off. And this one looks like it needs to come off. Okay. So now I'm going to loosely put them where I want them to go. So to make sure that I have them exactly where I want them. One there. One there. And one there. And now when I have to dry fit this so that when I put this on, it's going to fit. This one needs to come up just a tiny bit higher. I do want some overlap of the flowers onto that wainscoting. And this one here, I'm going to just lift just a tiny bit higher. Okay. Now that I think everything looks good, I'm going to give all of these a little press. Okay. And now I'm going to attach my wainscoting. And I am going to put adhesive on all 4 of these, even though it appears that there is a little opening up here. Okay. I'm going to line that up. Make sure it fits. Now I see that I have a little extra overhang here, so I'm going to take my snips. I must not have been very accurate in my cutting. I'm going to just take my snips and trim that off. Now, I'm not crazy about how this looks right there, so my solution to just about everything is an embellishment. And for this one, I'm going to bring in some linen thread. And I'm going to hold this. I'm going to have a little bit of, about 2 inches on one side. And then I'm going to run it around this twice, okay? And then I'm going to have 2 inches on this side. I'm going to snip that off. And now I'm going to tie a bow. And it doesn't really matter where my bow lands, my ribbon is right now, because I'm going to move it into place. So I have all of these here. So I have 3 layers. Okay, I'm going to keep it kind of taut. And I'm going to take this one here and run it behind the other 2 so that they're all caught together. Okay. And then I'm going to make a bow. Okay, and there's my bow. I'm going to fuss with it in a minute. But what I really want to do is secure that linen thread down. So right here where this bow, the knot of the bow is, I'm going to put a tiny bit of liquid glue, and I'm going to press that. Okay, now I'm going to press that knot down right there. Okay, I'm going to play with my bow just a bit. And again, I want to secure just in a little spot. So right underneath here, underneath that little pink leaf, I'm going to put a dot of glue. And I'm going to secure my linen thread, and I'm going to bring that down so it overhangs. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on this side here. Little dot of glue right underneath there. Bring my linen thread right up to it. I'm going to use the pokey part of my my tool here. Get that right inside that glue, and there we go. Okay. Now that's going to stay nice and secure, that little border of linen thread. I'm going to bring in my With Sympathy sentiment that we've already stamped. I'm going to put some glue, some Stampin' Dimensionals on that as well. I'm going to use 4. And I'm going to tuck that right underneath here. So a little of it's a little underneath my linen thread. There we go. And now I'm going to add adhesive on the back of that. center it up onto my card. And again, it's a tiny little border. To stand up a bit. And there we have it. Isn't that a beautiful floral arrangement? I just love it. And this Forever Fern, it, when you first look at it, you think fall colors, and it makes beautiful fall arrangements. But I thought that it would make an equally nice, soft, comforting arrangement. These in colors are very soothing. They're very muted and soothing, and I just think that they lend themselves perfectly for a sympathy card. So if you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products I used, please contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up and possibly consider subscribing to my YouTube channel so that you will be notified whenever a new video goes up. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with whom you work, I would love to be able to help you out. Just contact me and we'll go from there. Thanks so much and have a great day.